Cody, there is a wrestling term that I always use. Bro, I marked out. I marked out when I saw that. Like
Mhm.
I was like, you have got to be kidding me. I'm like, I'm because Eric told me he's like, dude, check the. This was before I left on Friday to drive out to Ames, and I was like, well, he was like, dude, check out the helmet we're wearing. I'm like, what? And then I was on the phone. I was on the phone with him. I saw him like, let's go. Hello, everybody. Welcome one, welcome all, and welcome back to the Bleav in Iowa State podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Carter.
And I'm your host, Cody Vanciolo.
Cody, it was just an absolutely beautiful day on Saturday as the Cyclones roll the Jayhawks 38-14. What did you think?
Um, First of all, that was probably the most for it being a mid-late November, right before Thanksgiving. This felt like we were in fall. We were in late September. Um,
Yes,
Weather-wise, I don't know. By the end of the game, it literally was 60 degrees. So maybe we could have just rolled up in shorts by the end of it. But it was a really nice day, weather-wise, and it was also a really nice day, football-wise, because I think this was probably the most complete game I've seen Iowa State play since aforementioned late September when we played Arizona. This is probably the best we've seen Iowa State look.
I agree. This is the most complete game. Rocco was on point. The receivers were catching everything, especially that beautiful sideline catch by Chase Soul. Brett Eskildson I believe, had like 9 catches. He had 2 touchdown catches. The tight ends looked good. Carson Hansen looked amazing. Abu Sama looked good. The defense played great once again. So I just now this as Iowa State is playing their best football, we basically now just wait to see what their bowl protections are going to be. But I'm just glad that this team has so much fight because they could have just easily given up after the Colorado loss and just tanked everything. Like we as we've seen time and time again in the Campbell era, is that this even if they have like a rough patch, they will always fight.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly so. Like you mentioned, not just the Colorado game, but I mean that whole stretch, that 4-game stretch where we had not looked great, and I mean, even if you look at it, the body language was really different for Rocco Beck, especially during that 4-game losing streak. You tell by that Arizona State game that he he tried to put he did not want to be he had the feeling he did not want to be there, but he still was out there, out for media after the game. But the fact that you saw in our post game interview with Psych Fanatic, Rocco Beck had a smile on his face. You could just tell that he was having fun, and that's what you saw on the field as well. You saw a team having fun again playing football. And I think that was part of why everything worked so well for Iowa State was things were working together. Defense, offense, special teams were all working together, and I mean that led to them having fun. They had confidence, and that just bodes well for this late stretch. So it's really nice to see that Iowa State is kind of getting its mojo back, and I think this is going to bode well for them as we head to Oklahoma State, head into whatever bowl game we play in, and even into 2026, because this was senior day for Iowa State against Kansas. I Bleav we had lost, and the number of seniors we lost, we were graduating this year. It's about 16 seniors. Trying to read the list off from Cardinal Golden Report. The following seniors that Iowa State recognized included the likes of the offensive lineman Jim Boniface, James Neal, and Tyler Miller. 3 guys who have been really crucial on that offensive line. And I mean, they're part of why this offensive line is probably the best that we've ever seen in the
Oh
Matt
yeah,
Campbell era. And that's one of the things where I think for the longest the Times fans had been very critical about was you always heard the talks of Iowa State having a better offensive line, but never really saw it. This year it was really huge to see for those 3 guys, and even I forgot to mention Dylan Barrett as well on the offensive line. So this offensive line unit is out of any unit during the 4-game stretch out of the 4-game losing streak that looked consistent, it was the offensive line. Even if the wide receivers and the defense was looking great, the offensive line was very being healthy as well. So that was key. Where you saw a lot of injuries in other places around the team, the offensive line was very consistent, and that's been very helpful for Carson Haynes and Abu Sama to put the running numbers that they did. So really, really great to see this come to fruition under offensive line coach Ryan Clanton. And speaking of the offensive line, we actually literally during the tailgating before the game started, Iowa State picked up 4-star offensive lineman recruit Will Slagle, and he committed to Iowa State literally during tailgating, and like in some, I think it was the RV lot. So, and he's a local product out of Grinnell, out of the Grinnell area. So really good to see that. Even while we have that going, it's nice to see we're still recruiting at a very good level, and we're keeping guys in state. So, and I mean that's the most Iowa State way to recruit somebody. Is just recruit them, like they just officially commit while they're at the tailgate.
Yeah, it's so Iowa State that like he was just it just almost was just like he was like born to play here, and the fact that he had 13 other offers and he's coming to Iowa State is just a fact that Iowa State they're just this coaching staff has an eye for talent. Really, really excited to see him play. Maybe we'll have to reach out to him to see if he wants to come out to the pod.
For sure.
So and that's definitely a new development that we're going to be doing, guys. We're definitely going to start having, at least for me, at least cover more recruiting and have some players and maybe these commits come on maybe after signing day in December. So look for that in the coming months. But yeah, man.
And I mean, some of the more seniors that were recognized, tight end Tyler Moore, who have been battling injuries, but I mean, he's the tight end that does the dirty work. Obviously, we know Gabe Brooklyn and Benjamin Bramer are your two pass catching receiving tight ends, but Tyler Moore's kind of the guy you put into run block and do the dirty work. And I mean, he's made a few plays here and there. We also on the defensively, yeah, I mean, you got to start with that guy Miles Mendezoon. I mean, that guy's been there, made great plays on special teams, and we've known him. We know him very well. We know their family very well. So we'll nice to see him getting recognized. And then Tomato McDonough out of Asheville made his impact in the Cyhawk game, getting those back-to-back sacks. And then, I mean, the biggest one out of them all, Big Citrus Dominique Orange, who basically was a game wrecker for many many opponents. So really big, and I think he's been the biggest like impact player out of anybody in graduating from this senior class.
Yeah, because I mean, you look at last offseason, he easily could have went to an SEC team and got a lot more money, but he decided to stay here and his career at Iowa State. So for that, we thank you, Big Citrus, and I know that he's gonna have a very long career in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah. The things like that, man, like I mean, that's the points with him. It's like he made such a difference because you see him often like force like other offensive lines to double team, maybe even triple team him, and that allowed for some other guys to potentially make plays like the linebackers, whether it was Caleb Brazina, Cooper Evil, even Caleb Bacon making a play in the backfield. So he clogged up space, and that forced other teams to really plan and adapt to it. So yeah, just really excited. Like that's one of those things. That's one of those positions like I always look at too is like the defensive line is seeing how much of an impact can you make on like a run play or a pass play just with your presence and what you can do. So yeah, so a lot of seniors graduating, and I mean really just see like to look ahead, this senior class like defensively, who is gonna like be that guy that steps up and be like that captain, the leader. I think some people are saying possibly Caleb Brazina or Cooper Ebel. But maybe you can look at potentially John Tez or Jeremiah Cooper returning, because I believe both of those corners can return due to possibly having that medical red shirt.
Yeah, I think they'll get it awarded too. So yeah, they're definitely coming back next season. And then hey, maybe you look at a guy like not James Neal, but
Marcus Neal.
Yeah, that dude is a dog. Because I already know that he's gonna whoever I already know SEC teams are gonna come up here and try to poach him, And so I already know that the We Will is probably gonna have to give him a bag this off season because he had an excellent year and he was like one of the main cogs in keeping that defensive backfield consistent. And it's and then, like honestly, this like we saw with the linebackers this year, even though the linebackers struggled, um, the secondary I think has a chance to be one of the most solid positions with depth that we've seen because if you look at everybody that has played, you see Trey Bell sharing himself. You saw David Coffey um, being a guy who got a few snaps in there, and he played great yesterday.
Mhm.
So it's very, very. It's gonna be interesting to see at least next year when it's time to talk about the roster next year to see how it shapes out.
Mhm. Yeah, I think probably the most important thing is like how you bolster the defensive line. I think it's going to be the position
Yes,
that Iowa State would
yeah.
need to attack in the offseason is really recruit guys on the defensive line, considering you're losing two of your foreign pieces. But who knows? Maybe a guy like Zamir Hawk or even Ikena Iziagu, maybe those guys take a step up. But obviously, I think you do still want to attack the transfer portal because, yeah, because you want to get like that interior. You got to look for a guy who can wreck house on the interior uh, portion of things. But yeah, I mean, going from like obviously recognized as the seniors, I mean, the game overall for Iowa State, like we mentioned, a thing of beauty. But I mean, even before we talk about the game itself, we need to talk about the helmets that our boys wore. Because man,
Oh,
the most
baby.
these were some of the prettiest helmets I have seen, and I am so glad we have not worn the block I State logo at any point this year, and I hope we can leave it in the past. That thing needs to go. That logo is an abomination on our helmets, and it's beautiful. We brought back the sign name. I mean, look at this thing.
Cody, there is a wrestling term that I always use. Bro, I marked out when I saw that. Like
Hmm.
I was like, you have got to be kidding me. I'm because Eric told me he's like, dude, check the this was before I left on Friday to drive out to Ames. And I was like, oh, he was like, dude, check out the helmet we're wearing. I'm like, what? And then I was on the phone with him. I saw him like, let's go. So
Hmm.
I was going crazy, bro.
Yep. You could. I mean, everybody, as soon as like this showed up, the equipment team put this out. Everybody on Iowa State Twitter was going crazy. You have not seen this many Iowa State fans united for something, but like, it's beautiful. I
It
don't like.
is.
It may not be like I know people are thinking the when everybody thinks of side, they don't think of the one with the tertiary blue. But obviously, that has to do with like trademarks with like Champion or whatever because they own that. But that's for another day. That's for another day to worry about. But I mean, just the beauty of this. And then seeing it like worn like on the field, it was I don't know why. It looked even better with it like on the field. Look at this.
Yeah, I sort of hope that. Oh, yes, beautiful.
Yeah. All right, one thing to note. I love how okay, this stiff arm was a thing of beauty.
Oh, that's the part he do. Abu pushed him back like 5 yards.
I know. I mean, we talked about Abu
Oh
Sama.
my!
He had himself a really nice day. I mean, I gotta find the this is from like my tweet. So I had it somewhere. Go back here. Let's see. I'm just stop sharing for a second. Yeah, I made a mention, and we talked about this kind of on the like before on the preview pod on what was it
Yeah,
Thursday or whatever.
yeah.
We talked about like, and I think a lot of fans were talking about what Iowa State needed to do to win this game, and they did exactly this. Yeah, run
I
through a
saw that.
motherfucker's face. Yeah, and then yeah, here's the clip from our good friend Jake Brent about Abu's like run.
Woo!
The shoulder pads, you could hear those shoulder pads colliding, and that was a
Yeah,
thing of beauty.
yeah, dude. Yeah, bro. Like literally just ran. He was like, pow! I'm like, ooh. I heard
Hmm.
that all the way from Section M. It was crazy.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, maybe you might have seen a Jack Trice Mafia over there.
Probably did. I probably ran
Yeah,
into him and talked to him, and then probably didn't know.
yeah,
All right.
yeah. And then, I mean, with that clip too, Jake Brent actually put this on the tweet as well. That Abu Sama run a third down was the most underrated play of the game because
Oh,
giving
sure did.
context, yeah. Kansas has just scored their second straight touchdown because Kansas looked alive in that third quarter. I mean, we
Oh
had put the
man.
clamps on them in the first and second quarters, like that first half. But Kansas, they came out swinging. They still had life in that third quarter when they got those back-to-back touchdowns. And then obviously Carson Wentz being out, like, and you needed that third down to really keep your momentum going. So we did that, and then this third down resulted in a first down. We eventually converted that for a touchdown. So we kept Kansas like at arms like a good distance away from us. So that's something we did as well. We even when we were kind of letting them in the game, we didn't like falter. We didn't crumble, and we just like kept
Oh yeah.
putting it on him. So I mean, from him, Anthony in Flora, he had a nice touchdown at the end of the game. That was just the cherry on top. And we were belting out, and I mean, you were probably doing this too. We were belting out Mr. Brightside in the middle of that fourth quarter because me and my friends, we were all in the student section. We were hoping that they played Mr. Brightside, given his KU. And when they were playing it, we were singing our hearts out. It was. I'm surprised.
Yeah, I was like, yes.
Yes, we were all waiting for it. We were all waiting for it.
And then the tarps out. If you saw all my videos on my page, I was cracking up, bro. I was like,
We were
man.
we were turning around. We just like heard people going crazy. We just turn around and we see a bunch of dudes going tarps off. We were all confused, like, wait a minute, we're kicking their ass. Why are we doing this? And we're just like, you know what? I was like, wait, this is nice weather. It's November, it's senior day. You know what? We're just having fun. And that's exactly what this was.
The old dudes went over there too.
I think I saw an elderly citizen on the cycle the highlights doing it too. I love how they probably looked like. I mean, he looked like Keith Murphy. He looked like Keith Murphy. But that was just a fun day. Seniors went out in great fashion. 7-4, like what? Yeah, 7-4 now. I mean, you're still fighting for that bowl, like whatever bowl you want to play in. But yeah, overall, great day to be a Cyclone that day. And I mean, we even had what? And we didn't even mention it like before. Joel Lanning made an appearance.
Man. Yeah, that was awesome,
Dude. That okay. First off, that he did it really like. It's nice to see Joel Lanning back. So I'm like, if anybody's gonna be back for this, go figure. It's Joel Lanning. That is a man. But I mean, we gotta talk. Like, bro looks like your average like dad. He just looks like your average football dad. But the hat, we gotta talk about the hat, the crew neck. I've seen the crew neck. I've had it before. But man, that man has a beautiful mustache.
Yeah, see, that's an elite fit right there. Like, no lie.
Yep. Vibes. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
So yeah, that was just good. But yeah, really fun day. And man, I mean, the fact this game was at 11 a.m. it was perfect for us. I mean, we got to watch Kansas. We didn't have to worry stress too much. And then there was a lot more college football the rest of the day. And I mean, even for how quiet this day was, there were still some pretty good games this week.
Yeah, let's take a look at that. And we this first game we're talking about was the game of the day. Like you want to talk about a choke job, bro? We got to talk about this Kansas State and Utah game.
Oh,
because there was a point to this game where I think K-State was up 47-35, and then they Avery Johnson threw an interception. Threw an interception for a 2-point conversion, 47-37, and then Utah went on to score 16 points in the fourth quarter to win 51-47. And the craziest stat about this, bro, is that I can't believe. Look at this. They had 472 yards rushing. How do you, Cody? Can you tell me how you rushed for 472 yards and still lose?
I don't know.
Like,
I don't know.
That's insane to me.
This is Kansas State. I saw the Kansas State Barstool account said like, oh yeah, this is our version of the Abu Sama Legacy game. I'm like, well, surely that worked out for them. But I mean, yeah, most times when you tell somebody you run for 472 yards and you put up 47 points, you would think you won the game convincingly, but unfortunately that was not the case. And oh boy, I mean, if you look at the score, this looks like 2015 Big 12. This is like the Big 12 from 10 years ago when defense was optional and it was just a shootout. It was score after score after score. It all came down to who had the ball last. This is what the this was nostalgic to me. Seeing this scoreline, I'm like, yes,
Yeah,
yeah. But oh boy, I
yeah.
mean, there was just a whole lot of. I mean, the biggest things weren't even from this game. It was from the aftermath of this game. The drama.
Oh man, the drama.
Oh boy. Yeah, Chris Kleiman. That man's seat is starting to warm up. There are a good amount of Kansas State fans that are wanting him fired. And boy, oh,
It is a toxic atmosphere. I'm not gonna lie. It like I will say they got screwed, but the facts that they basically have to their bowl eligibility relies on beating Colorado is actually pretty funny.
I know. I mean,
Like
yeah,
I'm petty, but like
yeah,
yeah, I mean that's crazy.
yeah. Okay, yeah. The whole officiating thing. Yeah, we've known that officiating in the Big 12 is not necessarily the best. I do see the argument for Kansas State, like because this was that illegal substitution or whatever on that fourth down.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I think that flag should not have been thrown, and I think Kansas State wins. Like, I truly think like this is one of the rare cases where, me personally, that doesn't get called. Kansas State gets to stop. They likely run out the clock and win that game. But I mean, yeah, we've known that officiating is bad in this conference, but this one hurts if you're like, and now like you're about to go what? Like you're like Chris Kleiman wins the Big 12 one in 2022. Ever since then, has gone what 8-3, like 5-4 in Big 12 play.
Yeah, 9-4, 9-4, and then probably 6-6. These are the last. These are probably going to be his records: 9-4, 9-4, 6-6 after winning a Big 12 title.
And I'm trying to think what are like their record in conference. That's the thing to look out for.
Oh, 5-4, 5-4, and then this would be they're 4-4 right now. So if they win, they'll be 5-4. So 15-12. So very average.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're at Kansas State, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's not acceptable at Kansas State. I don't think Kansas State fans are not accepted that. But I mean, if they do want to fire him, like the thing is, Colin Klein is down at Texas A&M as the offensive coordinator. I think so. Kansas State fans would really love to bring Colin Klein back because Colin Klein is Kansas State. Besides Bill Snyder, you put those two
Right.
like those two are literally like the lifeline of Kansas State. So I think some Kansas State fans are ready to move and go to Colin Klein over Chris Kleiman. But I think what may happen is they give Chris Kleiman one more year to figure this out, and if he does it, then they're gonna fire him. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they fire him next year if he does this again.
No, definitely, man. It is going to be interesting to see how that turns out this off season because it is very, very toxic right now in Manhattan. We're going to go to this next game right here as Arizona has just been just a great game. Man, they win 41-17 and they move to 8-3. What a year for the Wildcats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Brett Brennan he's got to figure it out, and I mean this is what you want to see out of him. So really great job at Brett Brennan with I think on paper a worse team than last year's when they went 4-8. This is just a well done job, and I mean this game it was close. Like it was like what was it 20-7? Like
it was 21-17 at one point, and they pulled
away.
And
then
Arizona pulled away.
Yeah, 20 shutting out Baylor in the fourth quarter. I mean, yeah. So Arizona is feeling great. They're heading into the duel in the desert with Arizona State. I think that game should be a fun one. But I think more story needs to go to Baylor because boy, oh boy, we heard the news that Baylor is keeping Dave Aranda around.
Yeah, and the Baylor faithful was not happy about that. Unfortunately, he has a very high buyout, and they're probably going to give him to the middle of next season, probably, because that could probably be a tarmac game to where if they're like struggling still, he might get let go in the middle of the season.
Yeah, and my thing, like, I think the situation with Baylor, obviously, you have no AD, and you have like your finances aren't there. Like, you don't have all that money to buy him out exactly. And if you do fire him, like, are you gonna really be? Is your job gonna be that viable of a job? Like, is that one of the sexiest? Like, are you like? It all comes down to where are you in the hierarchy list of your job relative to others like that. Like we mentioned, this coach carousel is huge. Like, there's so many open jobs, and I mean, is Baylor like able to like get that money, whatever? So I think, but yeah, it's things have just been things have not gotten great in Waco, and it is ugly. So Baylor, they got to figure it out. And I mean, I think at some point, I think it might be time to maybe hit the full reset. Like, you got to hit the full reset if things go even worse next year.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's where Baylor fans are at, where they just want to start over. Because it is just a toxic atmosphere down in Waco right now too. All right, as we move on, we're gonna go and look at the big matchup in Cincinnati. Big Noon was here. We have BYU going on the road and getting a huge win over the Bearcats. Cincinnati now has lost 3 games in a row after starting 7-1. So you see BYU 10-1. They somehow are still on the outside looking in at the playoff because of all these stupid 2-loss SEC teams in front of them. Even though if you really look at and compare BYU's resume, they might have just as many impressive wins as any of those SEC teams. With a loss to Texas Tech. So like I don't know, man. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Put Notre Dame's logo next to BYU's resume, and they're top 5.
Facts, man.
And the thing is, this isn't like a Kansas State or like an Iowa State or Kansas has this resume. This is BYU. This is a nationally known brand. This isn't like your average like Big 12 team that everybody thinks of. BYU is a known commodity. They're
Right,
a known
a
commodity.
national brand.
They're nationally recognized. So I'm surprised that BYU is getting this treatment for having such an expansive fan base being known around the country. And it's just disappointing to see. But I hope like the playoff committee can rectify this in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, this game, it was never in question, honestly. The BYU, they were not in danger of losing this game, even when it was tied up. There's just something like Cincinnati just kind of, I don't know. They were right. They had chances to like really get a lead and win this game, but they just couldn't do it. And BYU took advantage of it. So the score line is a little deceiving because BYU just like they just dominated this game. I mean, you look at the time possession, 38 minutes versus 21. And those third down conversions, 50% for BYU versus 413 for Cincinnati. So BYU able to just continue winning. And I mean, for them, they just got to win out to go to Arlington, essentially. I think them and Texas Tech have essentially iced their tickets to Arlington because I don't see Texas Tech losing to West Virginia. And then BYU plays. Do they play what?
They play Middle Florida.
Oh, then honestly, yeah, those two are pretty chalked for the conference title game.
Yeah, so we're gonna see a rematch, and I think the only way that we can see multiple teams is if BYU wins in the rematch in Arlington. So hopefully we gotta hope that, and then maybe Utah will make it in as an at large, but we'll have to see.
Yep, and we talked about Middle Florida. Boy, things were a little scary. This game happened, ladies and gentlemen. This game happened.
Oh, they survive. UCF survives Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State jumped out to a 14-0 lead, and I saw that. I'm like, look at Oklahoma State. But UCF storms back with 17 second half points to win and kick a game-winning field goal with a minute left as Middle Florida wins 17-14.
Yeah, Oklahoma State, they no longer are the team that just will roll down and die. Like, they're feisty. So this game is not the layup that they were a few weeks ago. I think for like obviously Iowa State's next opponent is Oklahoma State. It's not going to be the layup they think like that most people think it would have been a month ago, but Iowa State knows that. I mean, they're coming in granted as a double-digit favorite, like 2 touchdown favorite, but I think Iowa State's not going to lull like they're not going to lull in the still water and potentially get caught having a lackadaisical attitude because that's just not how Iowa State's built. But Oklahoma State is showing some fight, so I mean, I think I saw like after this game, Oklahoma State has now won a conference game in 720 days. That is puzzling.
Wow, it's coming up on 2 years.
Oh yeah,
A once
and then
solid program now in the dumpster.
yeah, and then with this next game, Oklahoma State, like with the loss to Iowa State, it's going to be at least 1,000 days before their next opportunity. Yikes!
Oh man, the Titans still won. Who would have thought, man? Yikes! Yeah, yikes is right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're gonna take a look at this one. TCU getting an upset victory over Houston in Houston, 17-14. Although like Houston will want to win this game, even if they lose next week against Baylor, which I don't think they will. An 8 or 9 win season is a great year after starting off 4-8. It seems like the Cougs are going into the right direction.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, yeah, with all the with this year, great year for Houston, but this game, Houston had a chance to win, man. And I mean, I think the headline I'm thinking of right now is the 2 missed field goals in the fourth quarter. That's going to sting. That one's going to sting because you were right there. You were just there the whole game. You just could never get over that. Kind of caught yourself this one, but I mean, TCU gets a pretty good win down in Houston, so they can still go 8-4, which wouldn't be too bad for Sunny Dykes and company.
No, but compared to what they thought that they were going to be, like, sort of disappointing for them. But I also didn't truly believe because their defense is not really good. So
yeah, you know, this Houston team, like the overachieving but losing some questionable games, reminds me a lot of the 2017 Iowa State squad when we beat number 3 Oklahoma. Like we beat top 5 Oklahoma Norman. We beat number 4 TCU at home, but then we lost a very questionable game to Oklahoma to West Virginia.
Right.
This is what this is reminding me of. It's like you're overachieving, but then you lose some questionable games, but you're in the right direction. So I'm liking this for Houston. Wait, hold on. Wait. Psycho Meatball, hold on. I just see, yep. He just saw Casey's tendies for Feast Week. Hey, welcome to Feast Week. I mean, that's exactly
welcome to Feast Week.
I mean, yeah, I got basketball going up. We talk about that a little bit, but I got the Players Era up right now. It's Rutgers, Tennessee, and then
oh yeah,
but we'll get to that in the basketball
there you
segment.
go.
But yep, yeah, we'll get to like more of that in the basketball segment. But we got to talk about the national slate because
yes, we do, because the national slate was insane as well. There really wasn't that much that happened, but we're gonna take a look at it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think nationally, yeah, there are some playoff implications that we can look at. Quick action notes. Yep. Western Michigan pulls away for Northern Illinois. Akron wins. I think we talked about this. Yep. The Friday matchups. North Carolina State wins by double digits. Yep. Over NC State Florida State, and then UNLV wins by 28 over Hawaii.
We got to talk about what happened in the NC State game. So Florida State, or no, was it? No, it was yeah. Was it Florida State or NC State that was punting?
I think it was Florida State punting.
Oh no, it was NC State punting. So NC State punted to Florida State, and it made a crazy bounce. I think it might have bounced off of either a Florida State player's helmet or somebody, and it bounced back, and the punter recovered the muffs punt, and it bounced back to where the original line of scrimmage was. I was like, man, I'm like, if this is not the story of Florida State football, I do not know what is, man, because that was insanely
Yeah, and I mean, here's
embarrassing.
yeah, us here at Iowa State, we know a thing or two about
Depressed.
embarrassing special teams blunders. We're used to it, and we didn't even
Yeah.
mention this. You see, of course, whenever we plays Iowa State, we somehow force of course, Kansas muffs the snap or whatever. It goes over him, and he can still line drive it to put us into like the 28. Of course, they catch a break. Like what? We can, even when we're the ones that don't mess it up, we still find a way to lose in the end.
Yeah.
Like, come on,
It's
can we for once just actually benefit from somebody else's mistake on special teams?
right.
Yeah, but yep. Going to Saturday, this was a quiet Saturday relatively. Ohio State takes care of Rutgers, preparing for the game against Michigan. College game day is heading to Ann Arbor, so that's going to be quite a toxic environment. Texas A&M, 48-0. If you somehow were betting the Texas A&M minus 53.5 spread, ouch.
Yeah.
Georgia, 35-3 over Charlotte. Prepares that for old-fashioned hate. Oregon gets finally about time to get a really good win over a top 15 team in USC. So at least they have one ranked win on their resume for now. We'll see how that will age.
Yep. And fun fact is that USC got held to 52 yards rushing in this game, as Oregon was able to pull away and win 42-27.
Mm-hmm. Oklahoma and Mizzou end up in a defensive slugfest. Oklahoma wins 17-6, so they're likely going to stay in the top 10 for the time being. Notre Dame almost shuts out Syracuse. They were right there, man. I was hoping for the shutout, but Syracuse puts up a last-second touchdown to make it not a shutout. But Notre Dame, they covered the 36.5 spread by themselves. They covered the over by themselves as they just put Syracuse to bed. I mean, with the eye test, I know Miami fans are not gonna be happy. Like, wait, we beat Notre Dame. I'm like, that's true, but at the same time, Notre Dame ever since that game has just been absolutely destroying teams. Yeah, I guess there is a case you make for Notre Dame to make it to the playoffs. Still, part of me is still a little salty about it, but I'm like, hey, when you're just decimating the team ahead of you like this, it's hard not to argue. It's hard to argue against them being in the playoff.
Right, I completely agree. Miami goes on the road and gets a huge win to stay in playoff contention to win 34-17 in Blacksburg.
Yeah. First game for James Franklin as a Virginia Tech head coach. Doesn't end up too well for him, but I mean, it's going to be a long way back for them. Staying kind of in staying, I guess, going to the SEC, going to Nashville. Vanderbilt puts a 45 over Kentucky as they prepare for their match against Tennessee for playoff implications. Vanderbilt wins. I would guess they'll be in that bubble to make it to the playoffs as at large. Oh boy. One team that playoff hopes may have been dashed for, Georgia Tech.
I do believe Georgia Tech may still have a chance. I think they still have to, if they win, I think they can still be in. But if Pittsburgh wins and they beat Miami and they need other things to happen, Pittsburgh would make it to the title game. It's such a crazy ACC. I really have to look and see what the tiebreakers and stuff are. So I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. But the ACC ending next week is going to be wild to see who makes it into the title game.
And then going to Austin, Texas, the Longhorns put up 52, and Arch Manning has his best game of the season. Has a passing touchdown, a rushing touchdown, and a receiving touchdown as the Longhorns stunted all over Arkansas. And I mean, Texas, it's a long shot. It's a long shot to even be talked about in the playoff. But hey, you get a top 3 ranked Texas A&M coming into your building, so who knows? Maybe, just maybe, Texas may have slim hopes to make it into the playoff. Just maybe.
Yeah, no, definitely. Michigan goes on the road, gets a 25-point win over Maryland. You have Tennessee going on the road, beating Florida by 20. And then Illinois just with a horrible loss. But Wisconsin seems like they're building up steam. This is their second straight ranked team they've played, beating Illinois at home 27-10.
Yeah. looks like Wisconsin may or may not have turned things around. I don't get it how this has happened. Like, how did we like? It's one thing for Wisconsin win, but the fact they won by double digits against Illinois, that amazes me as a whole. Like this team was dead like a month ago, and now I think Luke Fickell has saved himself another year somehow, some way.
They're definitely gonna have to hit the portal and definitely do some good recruiting because, especially to get back in good graces with the folks up in Madison. We have Tulane going on the road to Philly, beating Temple as Tulane stays alive in the American race. We have Northwestern becoming bowl eligible as they get a 38-35 win over Minnesota at Wrigley. You have Louisville. I believe Miller Moss. I think Louisville's just decimated by injuries. You defeats them at home 38-6.
Yeah,
Wake Forest.
SMU though.
Yes.
SMU, I mean, they're right back in. They're in contention. They're lurking around for that ACC conference championship game. Yeah, 6-1. They're right there. They are right there. And with Georgia Tech taking that loss, it looks like it's Virginia and Pitt in the driver's seat right now, and SMU as well.
Baby.
Yeah, so those three teams only one loss in the driver's seat, and I think out of any of those, I think between those three, I could see it being SMU and perhaps might be Pitt, honestly. You know what? I'm gonna just drop that prediction. The ACC goes, and I think that this one may not age well, but I'm predicting it's SMU Pitt in the ACC championship game.
I think it's gonna be Pitt versus Virginia.
Yeah, I just don't. Virginia, I'm not convinced by them, honestly. I don't know what it is, or unless there's some tiebreakers, but I'll have to look again. But if that's like a prediction I have, if that could be true, then fair enough. But yeah,
no, that absolutely makes sense. But yeah, it's gonna be, like I said, it's gonna be interesting into the ACC race. You see Wake Forest moving to 8-3, having a great year, beating Delaware 52-14. Tulsa upsets Army 26-25, and now Army is 5-5, so they're going to need to win one of their last two games to get bowl eligible. That was a surprise.
Yeah,
JMU. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, and the Army, that includes obviously the Army Navy game. So who knows?
Yeah,
but if we talk about the group of six race, James Madison, the Dukes of James Madison out of the Sun Belt, they're making their case known to be that group of 16 that goes to the college football playoff. And they're just awaiting whoever comes out of the West Division to play in the Sun Belt Championship game. And Southern Miss and Troy right now are like the two teams. So they're going to duke it out probably for that spot to meet James Madison. But James Madison wins out, including winning the Sun Belt Championship. We could see the Dukes of James Madison going to the college football playoff.
That would be very, very nice to see. I'd love to see the Dukes in the playoff. Let's see. We have. Let's see. We're gonna look down here, see if any. And Iowa. Iowa survives at Kinnick after getting a scare from Michigan State. Alicio Milivojevic for Michigan State had 255 yards and 2 touchdowns. But it's just near the end of the game, I knew it was coming to where Michigan State couldn't move the ball, and Iowa was able to get a game-winning field goal at the buzzer as they survive, and they play Nebraska next week.
Yep, Michigan State. If you're a Michigan State fan, you want everybody on the coaching staff fired because that clock management was so horrible.
It was horrid,
and also. Caden Weechen is known for returning punts, so why in the world do you punt to him? You knew that.
It makes no sense. You knew that. Yeah.
You knew the capabilities of Caden Weechen as a kick returner, and yet you still decide to punt to him. That's like punting to Deshaun Jackson or Devin Hester.
It's stupid.
Yeah,
Like facts, man.
Yeah, if you're a Michigan State fan, everybody's got to you need to clean house. East Lansing needs to clean house. Yep.
Wah, wah. Oh,
Oh,
oh man.
what
Okay.
what a sight
So,
this was.
so the backstory is when Penn State was looking at Matt Rule, I believe Nebraska was 6-1 at the time.
Yep.
Ever since he turned down that job and signed the extension, they've lost 3 out of 4 games.
Yep.
And they end up getting murdered by Penn State.
Oh yeah. Oh, Nebraska. I mean, this wasn't okay. This probably wasn't the only L they took because I mean, okay, we're gonna go for football real quick, and I got a tangent to talk about when it comes to volleyball. I don't get it. Like, are 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 we crazy or because it was the Nebraska Indiana volleyball match, and there's a picture, and to show you real quick, I've got a picture about this whole this whole debacle. Nebraska fans were giving these so it's the guy in the cargo shorts and the woman with the leggings here. Some Nebraska fans were not very happy about these Indiana student section leaders doing all this kind of heckling whatever or whatever. They were acting like, oh, they're too close to the court or whatever. It's like, and yada 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 yada. Nebraska fans were whining a storm about this. Let's be real. Every college does this. Every student section does this. Like, I don't get why Nebraska fans are up and antsy about students being students. Like, what are we
This is
doing?
soft behavior. This is some soft behavior by Nebraska. They are a very very fragile
Yeah.
fan base.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it was ridiculous when I was seeing this the entire week. Just like they were making a storm about these two with clipboards, just like hooting and
Cody,
hollering.
they're a sensitive fan base, man. They haven't been relevant since like the mid 2000s. So
Okay,
I mean,
and then this person said here, these two Indiana fans could be jackwads at the volleyball game. I would be totally embarrassed, fine, and reprimand them if I were Indiana volleyball. But for what? Just
they didn't do
fans
anything.
yelling. And here's the thing: everybody knows, there's clearly a barricade for it. They know not to go over it. They're not stupid either. So it's like, why? And I see, if people are whining about this, I imagine being a Duke. Imagine playing against Duke basketball, Cameron and Door, and inboundings. You see how close those Duke fans can get the Cameron crazies,
Right.
and yet nobody gets. There's no way. I barely see people have an issue with it, but apparently when it's volleyball, when it's Nebraska volleyball, it's literally with two people, and that's they nothing. Oh man, it was so dumb seeing that. It was so dumb, but whatever.
All right. And now we are going to take a look and now talk basketball. We're going to take a brief look into St. John's. We're not going to do too much of a deep dive since we don't want to date ourselves. And since the game is coming on in an hour and a half, we're just going to take a look. We look at the team stats. We look at that St. John's is averaging 98.5 points a game. Looks like they're fast tempo. They are now 3-2 in their last 5, losing to Arkansas 75-66 and losing to at home 103-96 at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, to Alabama. Yeah, St. John. Yeah, I mean, they're I think this is from before the game. Ken Palm had him at number 16. I don't know if that's been updated, but yeah, they have a really high tempo offense. Which I mean, if you get into track meet with them, good luck. But for Iowa State, you want to be that's that thing is you ideally want to just you want to still. I think if you're Iowa State, maybe I don't know if they want to do this, but yeah. St. John's the team that just likes to run up the court, go very fast paced, and put up a lot of points. So if this thing turns into track meet, it could get ugly for Iowa State. But if Iowa State's able to disrupt that pace enough to get turnovers in transition and get transition points, that does well for them. So that's probably what you're looking at if you're Iowa State and you're TJ, is you want to disrupt them enough to force them to make decisions quicker, to make that pace kind of be a double-edged sword for St. John's, because obviously, yes, that pace works well to get a lot of points, but it can also lead to turnovers. So if you're able to force a lot of turnovers and get the points to transition, that'll be a successful thing for Iowa State. But I mean, that's going to be the game we'll talk about like probably after. But I mean, we need just this whole feast week. Like, this is what we're here for. This is the most beautiful time to be a college basketball fan because there are so many games this week, and it's not just the Players Era tournament either.
Yeah, we're gonna take a look at the schedule.
Yeah, I got to see the look for today. Like, this is just today. So I got this for basket under review. I saw Ryan Hammer. Yeah, I was watching Ryan Hammer talk about.
We'll do that.
Yeah, look at that schedule. Look at this. So yeah, right now we've got Rutgers, Tennessee, Creighton, and Baylor going on right now. So, but I mean, there's a lot of other. There's so much basketball today. I mean, look at this thing. This category right here is for all the sickos. I might low-key find myself watching these. Slightly psychotic.
Yeah, I'm definitely will be tuning in. Probably not. I will be. Not too much. Probably definitely will be staying up late Wednesday night since I don't have to work the next day. But definitely will be checking a lot of these out.
I'm gonna be up all night, all week. I got the whole week off.
I know you are.
So I'm feasting today. I'm feasting this whole week. If I look at this like schedule here, out of any of these like games today, obviously outside the Iowa State game, I think the one that's gonna intrigue me the most is probably Gonzaga, Alabama. That one's intriguing. And then I gotta find one from each category. I was watching UMass and Oregon State early. I was watching UMass Oregon State earlier. Yeah, let's see. Doug Gottlieb. I might
an absolute.
I might watch the Green Bay, Doug Gottlieb over here. And then let's see. Maybe Oakland. I might tune into Oakland a little bit.
Oakland and yeah.
Might be that's like a loyal
Illinois.
Grande Valley, Illinois. And then Arizona. No, that's Denver. Denver at Arizona.
Denver. Ooh, Maryland UNLV seems interesting.
Oh yeah, I might tune into. That's at midnight. Hell yeah, at midnight. Yeah, might as well.
There you go.
Yeah. So today is a very.
All right, guys. That is it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wait. Go ahead, Cody.
Oh, sorry. Oh yeah, we got, and then there's the feast week schedule. Because I mean, yeah, the feast week schedule. We got the Players Era. You got the Cancun Challenge. We got Maui. You got Battle for Atlantis. So we hit the full. You have a full breakdown here of like the schedule of what to expect for all these other ones. Man, this Players Era Festival is just taking over everything, and some of these just don't hit the same. I don't know what it is. Some of these tournaments don't hit the same. Then you had some. Yeah, you got these tournaments. Yeah. Nebraska, Kansas State. That game was hilarious to watch. You see you see the score? Oh God, everybody was blowing up Twitter when the score hit of what was it? Both teams had 67, and then I think it was Nebraska who won 69-67. I'm like, oh good Lord, oh man. But this is what we're here for. We're here.
Yep, this is exactly what they're here for. Yeah, and Cyclone Meatball said, at least for the key to the game, for Iowa State, slow down their tempo and challenge our guards to keep them from making threes.
Pretty much.
So yeah, challenging their guards, and then they have the two big men inside. So that's going to be an interesting battle to see. All right, with that, we are going to conclude today's show. Thank you, everybody who has tuned in to the Bleav in Iowa State podcast. A big thank you to FanDuel. Make sure if you know ball, go and make money. Also, find us on social media at YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Twitter. Username is Bleav in ISU 2025. Find us on Twitter, Tyler, me at SciTi Guy, Cody at Matt Campbell. That is today's show. For Tyler Carter.
And for Cody Van Seelum.
This is the Bleav in Iowa State podcast. Roll Clones, baby.
Go Cyclones.